listen to this testimony and try to tell me that God's not real. So there was this little boy, and he was super, super sick. No one could figure out what was wrong with him. This was back in like the 90s. So for context, he was constantly sick, profusely vomiting, major GI issues, debilitating migraines and headaches. This little boy was just sick, sick, sick all the time. Multiple doctors could not figure out what was wrong with him. He was even hospitalized over and over and over again, trying to figure out what was happening with him. He would be hospitalized for weeks at a time. They even did lumbar punctures on him, or spinal taps, to try and figure out what was causing all of these issues for this little boy. Finally, a GI doctor diagnosed him as having celiac disease. Now, we know celiac disease today because it's much more common than what it used to be, but back then, a diagnosis was very, very rare of celiac disease. And this is where your body is allergic to gluten, wheat, things like that. It didn't help that this little boy's family owned a bakery and was around gluten and wheat and flour and all of these things all the time, making things worse. So now that they had a proper diagnosis, they were able to change everything about his diet, and he began to feel much better. Fast forward into teenagerhood, when this little boy became a teenager, he started to kind of revert back to his old ways because it was really difficult to find anything gluten-free back then. He started getting sicker and sicker again because his diet wasn't as strict, and he was just trying to fit in with his friends and be able to eat the things that they would eat, but he couldn't do it, and it would make him so sick. So he began to get really angry with God. This little boy grew up, his whole family was Christian, they grew up in the church, and he began to get extremely angry with God and constantly questioning why this was happening to him, and he just wanted to be more like his friends. He didn't want to be sick anymore, and he just wanted to be able to live his life. Not only did he question why God was doing this to him, but he started questioning God's authority in general and started to not believe in him. So one day, his mom went to church without him, and this little boy decided to stay at home. And at this point, he's a late teenager. His mom goes to church, and this random lady comes up to her and says, "I don't know you, and you don't know me, but I have a message for you." This lady goes on to tell his mom that your son will walk in a wheat field. And this lady said, "I have no idea what that means, but I'm supposed to tell you that your son will walk in a wheat field." And the boy's mom was like, "I know exactly what that means." The same day, his friend who worked at a restaurant sat at a table of nuns, and they're not Catholic. The nuns came in and said, "Hey, you have a friend who's sick all the time." And he said, "Yeah." And the nuns told him, "Well, he's not going to be sick anymore." And this friend was actually atheist and didn't believe in God at all. When the friend came back to get their order, they were gone. They disappeared. So all of this happened on one random Sunday. And when that little boy teenager boy, when he woke up on Monday morning, he noticed that he felt a little bit different. He felt a little bit better. His mom shared with him what happened at church, and his friend shared with him what happened at the restaurant. Seemingly feeling a lot better, that little boy was like, "Well, I guess I can try to eat some gluten and see what happens." So he had pizza for the first time in years, didn't get sick. He thought, no, this is impossible. This just doesn't go away, so I'm going to eat some bread and see what happens. And he didn't get sick. He tried a third time and actually ate some spaghetti, some pasta, and once again, didn't get sick. He was so disbelieving that his mom ended up calling their GI doctor to see if they could run the blood test again to check for celiac to see if it really was gone. The doctor eventually agreed to run it again, but very hesitantly, and he was like, "This doesn't just go away. This is something that you live with for the rest of your life." And they're like, "Bet." So the blood tests were ran, and this boy no longer has celiac disease, and the doctor was absolutely flabbergasted and had never seen anything like this before, and that boy has not been sick with celiac disease ever since. And how do I know all of this? Because I married him, and that's my husband.